Cross-Cultural Training Project, presented by Jackson Avery Holmes, Robert Keenan, Melissa Peavy, Angela Rothermel, Ryan Valentino, and Sean Watkins. Several developments and reasons have compelled us to review our diversity and inclusion policies, procedures, and efforts. The main factors have been diversity, or lack of it, expensive legal issues, low morale, high turnover, low productivity, and high absenteeism. As a result, we have created the Diversity and Inclusion Team and have designed a company-specific cross-cultural training program, which we are pleased to present to you today. Today's businesses are involved in interactions across cultures, customs, and countries. Cultural differences complicate these interactions and create many challenges. Failure to navigate these challenges will jeopardize future success and potentially alienate and marginalize employees and customers. A task force was formed from Human Resources, L&D, and the D&I teams to research the best possible solutions to these problems. The joint team designed and now proposes the following training categories: emotional intelligence training, which will become the foundational underpinning of the other training categories of intercultural training, diversity intelligence training, cross-cultural communication training, and language training. Global expansion is one of the company's principal initiatives in the 5-year plan. The program intends to prepare the workforce for the Globalization Initiative. We seek to establish a global mindset and a culture of inclusion and communication. We aim to improve understanding, unity, and an effective collaboration between employees and teams from differing cultures and countries. Our primary goal is to create a culturally and emotionally intelligent workforce prepared for the complexity of offices, departments, divisions, and teams in different countries, able to establish successful internal and external partnerships, and create successful customer experiences globally. We conducted an extensive review from many sources: human resource magazines and journals, peer-reviewed articles, and even medical journals, all with excellent information on multicultural training programs and their benefits. We utilize 4 main theories in developing our training program: Cobb's experiential learning theory, Nanaka's knowledge spiral, Baldwick's intercultural expertise development model, and Weiss-Flynn's conversational theory. Cobb's experiential learning theory is one of the most popular and most frequently cited educational theories, studying in 4 phases connected with doing, sensing, observing, reflecting, thinking, and planning. This strategy is an important learning tool for immersing yourself in cross-cultural training. The Nanaka theory is a fusion of 4 processes: socialization, combination, externalization, and internalization. Baldwick's intercultural expertise theory advocates using our subconscious mind to learn from other cultures around us by paying conscious attention. Modern global assignments now involve constant travel and interaction with multiple countries. As a result, the realities of global trade demand the skill of learning how to learn about different cultures. Weiss-Flynn's conversational theory is a 4-step learning process that starts with an interactive experience within the culture, followed by a reflection period to soak up what was learned. Next, the culture is experienced again, although this round may have more expectations and tension. The last step is to clarify the differences in the cultures to resolve the tension from step 3. Cross-cultural training is a method to provide information and training employees about the importance of being aware of others' ideals and values that may differ from our own. This ensures that operations, productivity, and morale stay high and consistent, as well as mitigate any potential circumstances for conflict. Next, we will discuss where this type of training is best appropriate, as well as the circumstances for why the training is appropriate. A hot-button issue here in the United States has been that of immigration and its impact on the job market and economy. Organizations should see this as an opportunity to build bridges and educate their employees on the advantages of being a more diverse workforce. Globalization has had a tremendous impact on the workforce and for organizations of all entities. The increased efforts of attracting top talent from across the globe has increased the efforts of globalizing organizations to ensuring current employees are aware of any implicit bias they may have, as well as building their cultural competency. This would be especially true for information technology companies, as the race for top talent in this technology-driven era has seen increases in recruitment efforts on a global scale to hire the best talent. It is this reason why companies that are seeking to gain a competitive advantage on a global level would be wise to introduce cultural competency and cultural training. The program is the result of a thorough assessment of the workforce and its needs, utilizing a process that guaranteed confidentiality and anonymity to employees who provided input in structured one-on-one talks with randomly selected employees about cultural issues of concern to them. The Intercultural Development Inventory Psychometric Assessment, the IDI, was utilized to measure intercultural competence. Once the assessments and interviews were completed, oral and written reports about areas of strength and opportunity in terms of the company's cultural effectiveness was presented to upper management. After the workforce needs and cultural effectiveness assessments were completed, we selected specific targeted sequence of materials and training approaches following the developmental model of intercultural sensitivity, the DMIS. This allows us to guide the training approaches to be the most appropriate for each audience's readiness level and mitigate potential resistance and backlash. Our program involves a careful mix of approaches and tools. The training will be conducted by a combination of HR staff and outside consultants. This is a multi-phase program, with training beginning with the executive team, then with directors and managers, and finally the employees to ensure buy-in and leadership participation. It will be ongoing since this is a cyclical process. Our training program has 5 different training approaches and tools that we will use. Let's take a closer look at each of these training strategies. With far fewer minorities and women occupying the upper ranks of management, we need formal mentorships to reach minority groups and female participants because of the barriers that women and people of color face in getting informal mentors. Our program will include the following components: employee resource groups, recruiting mentoring program, matching mentors to mentees, targeted cross-cultural training in order to address the conscious and unconscious cultural belief systems that may interfere with the mentoring process. Once the mentors and mentees are matched, we will have a kickoff, which will be off campus and a weekend retreat. The program will then be conducted on campus with lunch and learn style talks as well as one-on-one mentoring meetings. Self-study through completion of online modules will provide a consistent overview of issues that a user can review when necessary, combined with one-on-one coaching to talk about the lesson, answering questions, and developing strategies to overcome the participants' specific challenges. These modules will either be conducted in the on-campus training room or at the individual's desk, depending on the content, scope, and length of the online training. Lunch and Learn cultural talks will provide an overview of cultural competence and awareness through expert webinars, community leader talks, small groups, and panel discussions. These will be held mainly on campus, but will also include off-campus sites as well. Formal classroom-style seminars will focus on implicit bias awareness, interpersonal and social skills, emotional intelligence, and diversity intelligence training. These seminars will have interactive sessions and utilize role-playing, panel discussions, as well as simulations. These seminars will be conducted both on and off campus, depending on the content and scope of the training and the trainers. Coaching programs are designed for management and management trainees. These programs focus on increasing implicit bias awareness, emotional intelligence, diversity intelligence, and transformational leadership training. The coaching programs will be held on campus as one-on-one meetings between the HR director and the individual manager or management trainee. There will be various materials required: flyers and announcements to be posted and sent via email, intercultural development inventory or IDI training and certification for the trainers, IDI administration and data analysis, questionnaires, training materials for the formal coaching program, online training modules, implicit bias assessments, and emotional intelligence assessments. When measuring the success of the training, we will look for improvements in areas such as communication, productivity, absenteeism, and turnover. If communication issues are properly resolved, then we should see an improvement in these areas. We will measure these by using a few different tools in the evaluation process. We will use a variety of questionnaires and surveys with scaling questions for employees and facilitators to rate the effectiveness of the training. Using questionnaires will help us in determining effectiveness and identify areas of improvement. These forms will allow employees to rate the facilitator, the tools used for training, and the overall training activity. These forms will be confidential to promote a safe space for employees to be transparent about their thoughts. Interviews and roundtables will be conducted in both groups and one-on-one. They will be both structured and unstructured, consisting mostly of open-ended questions. This should give us a mind map as to what the employees are thinking. They will be open conversations between an HR facilitator and employees. They will promote transparency and allow employees to openly express feedback of training programs, how effective they found the trainings to be, and what changes they would like to see moving forward. Because some goals cannot be tracked with forms and reports, managers will be responsible for observing their direct hires, especially in the areas of employee morale, engagement, participation, communication, and performance. They will also discuss these areas in one-on-one check-ins with their employees. Reports will be used to track quantifiable goals. The company identified key areas that need improvement, such as absenteeism, turnover, diversity hires, and cost. These reports will be scheduled to run frequently to track these goals. Logs will be used to track the training. Activity logs will track what occurred in the training, what instruments were used, and what exercises were done. Attendance logs will help track who attended, demographic information, and the invite response rate. While information is being gathered over the course of several months, the team will meet regularly to discuss current policies and processes to determine if there is a need or benefit in making any changes. If they identify an area that can be improved through a change in policy, they will communicate this with senior executives. We will be considered an employer of choice by 2025. We will also obtain a 100% satisfaction rating on the Employee Opinion Survey in 2026 in relation to diversity and inclusion within the workplace. Diversity for us will encompass military, gender, minority, and sexual orientation among the diversity hires and promotions. We also have the following SMART goals. In terms of diversity, increase minority headcount to 51%. For legal and risk management, achieve 0 employment discrimination lawsuits. For morale, 100% of the employees feel respected and valued based on the diversity and inclusion in the workplace by the end of Q4 2025. For turnover, our goal is to reduce it by 3% each year until a 5% turnover rate is achieved. And we plan to reduce turnover costs by 25%. Productivity and absenteeism will hopefully show as absenteeism rate will be reduced to 5% and increase productivity by 7.5%. We have a 2-year action plan to roll out and complete the initial round of training for all employees. Starting in January of 2021, we will have the kickoff retreat for the executive team and the coaching and mentoring for the executive management. Directors and managers will begin their training in Q2 of 2021, and the employee online program training will start in Q3 of 2021. Lunch and Learn programs will begin Q1 of 2022, and all employees will have completed the first round of training by end of Q3 2022. 100% of all measurement of effectiveness via reporting will commence at the start of Q3 of 2021. This training program will help improve our business as we seek to enhance emotional intelligence, increase diversity and inclusiveness, improve our company culture, and prepare for global expansion. Thank you very much for your time and attention today.